Chapter 6. The Birth of Fashion. I like it because it's popular. I hate it because it's popular. The tricky thing about studying popularity and why people like what they like is that at least three inextricable factors are always getting in the way: choices, economics, and marketing. Choices. If I were writing this book in 1918, a year when the Model T car came only in black, it would be obvious to note that everybody likes black automobiles. The idea that people might prefer more polychromatic cars would have been hard to defend, and there would have been little evidence to support the idea. But today's cars come in hundreds of models, colors, styles, and sunroof options, and the streets flow vividly with non-black vehicles in a variety of sizes. Choices changed people's tastes in ways that would have made 1918 taste explainers quickly seem silly. Economics. In the summer of 2007, when Abercrombie & Fitch was one of the most successful fashion retailers in the United States, it would have seemed prudent to hold up the company as the codebreaker of teenage fashion. By the end of 2008, however, the United States had fallen into deep recession. Teenage unemployment spiked, and parents who lost or were at risk of losing their jobs closed the allowance spigot. Abercrombie stock fell by more than 80% in a year, and Time magazine named it the country's worst recession brand, as many high schoolers moved on to less conspicuously labeled clothes and discount stores. Abercrombie's style didn't change, but America's economy did. Economics changed the definition of cool. Marketing. In 2012, Super Bowl 46 set the record for the most watched U.S. television program ever, although it would soon hand off the record to another Super Bowl. There is nothing quite like the National Football League's championship game as a universal marketing blast in an otherwise fragmented media environment, and indeed this game cemented at least one historic hit. A jaunty Chevy commercial featured the 5-month-old song We Are Young by New York indie pop band Fun. The very next week, the song climbed 38 spots to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and eventually hit number 1, where it remained for 6 weeks. The next year, Billboard named We Are Young one of the 100 best-performing songs in music history. The song's sudden success wasn't about economic circumstances, since its price and availability hadn't changed. It was just about marketing. The power of the right song in the right place with the right product in the middle of the Super Bowl, that supreme emperor of advertising platforms. So choices, economics, and marketing are always shaping tastes. But what if you could study popularity in a market without any of those things? In a store with infinite options, universal prices, and no advertising? For example, imagine a national clothing outlet that carried every size and design of shirts, pants, and shoes. But this national chain had no labels or ads to promote one style over another. Every possible article of clothing simply existed, and they were all the same price. This chain would be a social scientist's dream. Researchers could use it to study why certain fashions rise and fall without trying to control for the brutal power of advertising and distribution. In fact, such a marketplace exists. It is the marketplace for first names. Choosing a first name is like shopping at an infinity store where every product costs $0. First names are often a cultural product, like music or clothes. Parents select them for both deeply personal reasons — Maria is my grandmother's name — and for more aesthetic reasons — Maria sounds nice. News still carries influence. In the 1930s, the name Franklin soared in popularity while Adolf vanished. But there is nothing like direct advertising for names. No organization or company benefits from more sons named Michael, Noah, or Dimitri. The weird thing about first names is that even though they're free and infinite, they follow the same hot and cold hype cycle of many other products that do have finite choices, diverse prices, and lots of advertising. Just like clothes, first names are a fashion. Some names are cool today, Emily, while some once popular names now sound out of date, Ethel, even though the names Emily and Ethel are as Emily-ish and Ethelian as they've always been. Nothing about the quality of the names has changed, just their popularity. How do cool names suddenly become uncool, and then perhaps cool again? It's no mystery what happened to Adolf, and few mourn the name's demise. But what did Edna or Bertha ever do to anybody? That is a mystery that Frida Lynn, a sociologist at the University of Iowa, investigated with Stanley Lieberson. They noticed something interesting about siblings. Parents tend to pick similarly popular names for their older and younger children. A couple that picks a unique name for its first baby is much more likely to pick a similarly unique name for its next child. Indeed, if you meet a family where the children are named Michael, Emily, and Noah, it's rare for the fourth child to be named something exotic like Xanthopy. But if you meet siblings Xanthopy, Prairie Rose, and Esmeralda, you might be surprised to meet their younger brother, Bob. This suggests that parents have a particular taste for popularity, as Lieberson and Lynn write. Some parents like certain names on the basis of their popularity. Taste for popularity is a powerful idea in culture. A straightforward example could be seen in music's biggest stars. Some people like Taylor Swift because she's popular. Some people like Taylor Swift and don't really pay attention to her popularity. And some people look for things to dislike about Taylor Swift because her popularity sends the equivalent of a warning that she might be fake, dreck, or both. All three groups can agree on what a Taylor Swift song sounds like. Yet something outside the actual sound of the music, Swift's status as a star, can send a range of signals from pure appeal to deep skepticism. Popularity as a taste might apply to many categories: music, food, arts, housing, clothing, hairstyles, and political ideas. Some people are drawn to things because they're hits. Some people shun things because they're hits. You can imagine a spectrum from bandwagoners, I only tried it because it's popular, to hipsters, I don't like it anymore now that it's popular. Although it's possible that one's disposition for newness or independence holds across items, for example, that people who like blockbusters also shop at the Gap and eat chocolate ice cream, the more likely scenario is that an individual's taste for popularity differs across categories. For example, I have an innate skepticism toward political ideas that seem too popular, but also let photo spreads in mainstream magazines tell me how to dress. If we imagine that most Americans are in the middle of the taste for popularity spectrum for names, it would suggest most parents are looking for Goldilocks names. Pretty common, but neither odd nor ubiquitous. But 1 million families cannot perfectly coordinate their baby naming decisions. It's common for parents to think they've picked a moderately unique name for their girl, only to learn on her first day of school that several other kindergartners share the same one. Samantha was the 26th most popular name in the 1980s. This level of popularity was pleasing to so many couples that 224,000 parents named their baby girls Samantha in the 1990s, making it the decade's 5th most popular name. At this level of popularity, however, the name appeals mostly to the minority of adults who actively seek out extremely common names. And so, a top 5 name tends to peak and fall for a long period of time. Indeed, the number of Samantha babies has fallen by 80% since the 1990s. This taste for popularity spectrum maps onto one of the first ideas in this book, that familiarity underlines popularity, although people have varying tastes for familiar products. Some people like weird names, others prefer common names, and many parents are Goldilocks, choosing from that large swath of names that is neither overexposed nor proudly weird, but rather a little surprising, yet instantly recognizable. Individually, these parents are just picking names they like. Collectively, their choices create a fashion. One of the most important concepts in social psychology is social influence, or social proof, which means that other people's tastes often become your tastes. In Dr. Robert Cialdini's classic book on persuasion, Influence, he defines the principle of social proof as the greater the number of people who find any idea correct, the more the idea will be correct. This theory is widely accepted in media and marketing. Here is the most popular thing, so you'll like it. It means that #1 bestseller is a universally alluring descriptor. It conflates most read article with most interesting article. It means you're drawn to videos with more YouTube plays or Facebook likes. The truism even encourages some publishers and authors to artificially inflate book sales to get them on the bestseller list, or pushes game designers to fictitiously inflate download counts to appear in demand. Manipulating popularity can work, but consumers are not infinitely clueless. There is a limit to how much you can trick people into liking something. First, as song testing sites from the first chapter show, you can put lipstick on a dead pig, but that's not the same as creating a market for it. Lady Gaga's third album tested abysmally on the British music testing site SoundOut, but her label still pushed it down the throats of DJs and marketers and into the ears of radio listeners. Despite this massive marketing effort, the album sold considerably worse than her previous album. Quality might be a tricky thing to define, but people seem to know bad when they hear it. Distribution is a strategy to make a good product popular, but it's not a reliable way to make a bad product seem good. Second, raising awareness that something is popular might have unintended negative consequences. In the paper The Paradox of Publicity, researchers Balazs Kovacs and Amanda J. Sharkey compared more than 38,000 book reviews on Goodreads.com. They found that titles that won prestigious awards got worse reviews than books that were merely nominated for the same awards. In a perfect social influence world, this would make no sense. If an authority figure tells you a book is good, you ought to internalize the advice and adore the book. But the real world is more complex than that, and there are several intuitive reasons why a book award might lead to worse ratings. Prizes naturally raise expectations, and heightened expectations often go unmet. What's more, prestigious prizes attract a larger and more diverse audience, and this broad composition will include people who have no taste for the book's genre or style and are reading it only for the award sticker. These readers will dependably leave worse reviews. Meanwhile, a book that's merely nominated for the same prize might not attract the same motley coalition of readers, so its ratings won't suffer so much. But the researchers' most interesting explanation is that prize winners attract lower ratings because of a backlash among the book's readers. Consistent with work in the area of fads and fashion, we found that growth in audience size or popularity can itself be seen as distasteful or a reason to give a lower evaluation, the authors concluded. Popularity as a taste has a cousin. It's renown as a taste. Some people are seduced by prestigious books, some people don't care about prestigious books, and others are excited about disliking acclaimed works because they look forward to forming a counterintuitive opinion about a book that people are talking about.